So welcome to episode 12 of our Aston Martin save. Now, not too much to report before the race this episode. We've done a bit of scouting. We've got Fernando Alonso's detailed scouting report. We've upgraded the helipad. Fantastic news for all the helicopters in the area. But we have got the new chassis design through and we've had to put emergency manufacturing on it to get it in for this weekend. So we're going to now see what bigger impact that chassis can have. The circuit Paul Ricard, as we know, first Grand Prix in 1971, 53 laps. I actually quite like this circuit. Car attributes, medium and high speed cornering, they're the main attributes for this, but this new chassis might have significant impacts on our car performance. The expected strategy is a one-stop medium to hard. We've not got any weather data or anything like that, so I'm now going to get into the practice and we'll see it in qualifying with our shiny new chassis.
It's Grand Prix time here in Le Castellet. The very first horseless carriage race was organised in France in 1894. Since then, well, the carriages have only gotten faster. For the Grand Prix here, Paul Ricard boasts a fine collection of low, medium and high-speed corners. The seam curve is taken at breakneck speed, right before heavy braking at Beausset. This is an all-rounder test for cars and drivers alike. We're about halfway through the season now, and there's still plenty of time for everything to change. All eyes are on the teams and how they tackle the rest of the year. Let the weekend begin!
So due to an error on his flying lap, Sebastian Vettel is going to be out to qualify. He's not going to make it round for another run. So all hopes rely with Lance Stroll to see if he can somehow get himself into Q2. We had a decent first practice session. Sebastian Vettel obviously spinning off in Q1 here, which wasn't ideal at all. But hopefully he's done his spin on the Saturday instead of the Sunday. But we're now just following Lance Stroll as he comes round this Paul Ricard circuit here in France. And hopefully he is improving. Let's have a look. It was yellow through the first sector. Is he going to improve? He's got Lando Norris in front of him. The chassis does seem to have boosted us up a little bit. We do seem to have caught up a little bit to the cars in front. Not massively, but I do reckon the pace on the hard compound tyre that Sebastian Vettel did show in practice is something that we can really look positively on for the race. But Lance Stroll, as he comes around the final corner, can he improve enough to get out of Q1? He can't. He's going to actually drop below Alexander Albon, so we are going to be out-qualified by a Williams. Not very good at all for Lance Stroll. It's not been his best qualifying by any stretch. 19th and 18th. Big race on Sunday. This new chassis, I was hoping for big improvements. Let's see if our race car is any better than his qualifying pace. So strategy-wise, we are going to split the strategy. Sebastian Vettel is going to start on the medium compounded tyre and Lance Stroll is going to start on the hard. Just see how far Lance can go. Maybe a safety car might help him out. He's not got the pace that Sebastian Vettel had all weekend. It was just unfortunate that Sebastian had that spin in Q1. So let's get to the Grand Prix now and get to 5 red lights.
Looking at Lance Stroll. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. And for the second driver, it's Sebastian Vettel. They're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. Will their hard work pay off today? This is it. It's time for the French Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we're going to ride on board with Sebastian Vettel, who is behind Lance Stroll. Can Lance Stroll? Look at that Williams. What a start from the Williams driver there. And this could be the first time that we are both back of the grid, but fortunately Lance has stuck in there with the Williams and managed to get past him. He's doing okay, Lance Stroll. Meanwhile, at the sharp end, it is Charles Leclerc from Sergio Perez and Verstappen and Sainz. But back to our point of view, we've got Lance Stroll, who is battling away with Danny Ricciardo. And it's got to be said, all weekend, the best tyre for us has been the hard compounded tyre. So this will suit us. That's why we've decided to start Lance on the hard. He's been better on that. Like I said, did lack a bit of pace in comparison to Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel is running in last place here on the mediums. Maybe a mistake to not put him on the hard compounded tyre as well. If we have a look at the tyres around us, A lot of people are on that hard compounded tyre, so Sebastian Vettel has got to make moves early in this Grand Prix. But the top 10, Leclerc from Verstappen, from Perez, sorry, then Verstappen, Bottas, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Zhou, Alonso and Gasly as they come towards completing the first lap. Lance Stroll got to stick with Lando Norris. He has had the measuring on a couple of Grand Prix this week, a couple of races this season. He has had the measure of Lando Norris, but he is under pressure from that very fast McLaren behind him, and Danny Ricciardo, who's obviously fighting for his future at McLaren. Lap 3, and we're riding on board with Sebastian Vettel, who is currently trying to make moves on the Williams cars, because they are getting dropped by Danny Ricciardo at this moment in time. And now Sebastian Vettel is going to use overtake to get past Nicholas Latifi. He's just got past Alexander Albon, and now he's got past Nicholas Latifi as well. Sebastian Vettel makes up 2 places in the space of the first sector of this Grand Prix. It's fantastic work from Sebastian Vettel, and now he's got a bit of work to do to catch up to Danny Ricciardo. But meanwhile, Lance Stroll is doing a fantastic job with staying in there with the 2 McLarens. Lance Stroll looks the first driver at this moment in time. Big lock up for Guan Yu Zhou, and it's cost him some places. And to be honest with you, yeah, he's pulled up there, and Guan Yu Zhou, that's cost him a lot of places, and I think escalated our guys up the leaderboard a little bit, up the positions. Lance Stroll now into P15, just about handing on to Lando Norris. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel just cannot catch Danny Ricciardo. These medium compound tyres on lap 4 not working for Sebastian Vettel. Lap 11, and Lance Stroll is very much in a DRS train, all the way up to sort of P9. You can see Lance Stroll at the back of this train here. He's in it for points. I mean, let's be fair, there's only about a couple of seconds covering about these, 7-8 cars. Meanwhile, at the sharp end, Charles Leclerc is leading from Max Verstappen, who's very much on the charge. Sergio Perez is up with him. And then it's George Russell, the 3 guys at the front, very much in a league of their own. But then comes George Russell in 4th, Carlos Sainz 5th, Bottas 6th, Hamilton 7th, Alonso, who we've been scouting, P8, Mick Schumacher in 9th, and Kevin Magnussen in 10th. And that's where we join in the pack, trying to hold on. But as we do that, we can see Danny Ricciardo has just got past Lance Stroll. That's disappointing for us. We are trying to conserve the tyres a little bit with Lance as well. Sebastian Vettel's having a torrid race, but maybe he can hold on to the back of this DRS from Guan Yu Zhou. But it's been a bad couple of moments there for us. And we'll have a look here. Danny Ricciardo round the outside of Lance Stroll. And it's a good move from Danny Rick into P15 for Danny Rick. Now Lance has just got to hold on to the back of this train. Lap 17, and we've seen a couple of these so far today. Esteban Ocon locking up into that runoff area, which allows Lance Stroll through. He's still very much in this DRS train. He's hanging on to Danny Ricciardo, who's now vulnerable actually, because Danny Ricciardo's obviously made a mistake and dropped off from Lando Norris. I'd be expecting Lance to get past him pretty shortly. But at the moment, I'm not too bothered if he does or he doesn't, because it might just keep his tyres a little bit fresher if he stays behind. So we're going to switch him to standard on that note, and hopefully Danny Ricciardo can pull back up towards that train in front of him. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, it's not been the best race for Sebastian Vettel. I think that's quite obvious to say. He's in P18 and he's just on a race on his own, really. It's not going very well. He's tried to hang on to the back of Guan Yu Zhou. That's not really paid off either. Sebastian Vettel, disappointing weekend so far. He needs a safety car. But Lance Stroll keeping on to Danny Ricciardo. Not too bad. Not too bad. In comes Sebastian Vettel. And to be fair, we're going to try something different. We're going to put Sebastian Vettel on a 2-stop, because at the moment he's just going to run in last place. There's no reason. He's got the Williams covered off, I believe. We're going to go on to a set of soft compound tyres, have a real blast on these tyres, see if we can get back up, hope for a safety car or something. It's just a case of trying something a little bit different with Sebastian Vettel. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll is losing a lot of time to the cars in front now. He's managed to overtake Danny Ricciardo, but that's probably not the best thing that could have happened for his race. Meanwhile, in front, Charles Leclerc is still leading from Max Verstappen, Perez in 3rd, and then come the rest of the gaggle of cars, finishing off with Kevin Magnussen in P10. Lance Stroll has managed to get back in a train, a DRS train. There's been some pit stops, but now hopefully Lance can just get pulled along by these guys. We've got a couple of guys on fresher tyres. George Russell for one, who's at the back of this little pack, but hopefully this can just keep dragging Lance Stroll along. Meanwhile, at the back, Sebastian Vettel. Lap times is what it's all about for Sebastian. Sebastian's last lap was a 1:38.6, so he's currently possibly one of the quickest guys on the circuit, especially towards the back here, but it's how much time he can make up. He is on an absolute push mode here to try and get as far up as he possibly can. Sebastian Vettel making moves on the Williams, round the back, round the inside of Latifi, into the penultimate corner. Aston Martin, we're trying to make a push with Sebastian Vettel, but he's got to chase after Guan Yu Zhou now in the Alfa Romeo. We've not seen much of that this Grand Prix. Have a guess. Have a guess. It's not actually Sebastian Vettel. He's lost it completely. And it's just one of these things that keeps happening to us. Lance Stroll pushing to try and keep onto the back of that DRS train. He's not even caused a safety car, which is the most disappointing thing about it. Where has that left him in terms of that spin? He's now 5 seconds off Tsunoda. He's still got 12 seconds to Magnussen, but he has got a pit stop to make. That's made a decent afternoon into a bad one for Lance Stroll. Oh, we keep seeing it, don't we? Sebastian Vettel, though, he's pulling away from Nicholas Latifi, which is good. I don't think he's quite going to catch Guan Yu Zhou at this moment in time. But that is so disappointing, and that means that any chance of sort of points heavily relies on a safety car, which is not prominent around the circuit for a car. Sebastian Vettel, lap 30, coming in for a set of hard compound tyre. He's going to be on quite fresh hard compound tyres. We do need a safety car to get him back into this race. I think that is for sure. But Sebastian Vettel, we tried something different. It's not paid off. That's fair enough. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll, again, not having the greatest afternoon now. That lock-up, that spin has absolutely cost him his race this afternoon. Sebastian's in, and now Lance Stroll will come in for the medium compounder tyre this lap, as per the strategy. So let's get Lance into the pits. He's going to be coming round any time now as he comes round the penultimate corner. Sainz still leading from Leclerc. Still a Ferrari 1-2 at this moment in time, but I'm guessing these guys possibly have got to pit. Carlos Sainz certainly has, so he's got to pit. That might bring him out near the Red Bull. But as we see, let's have a look, see if we can have a decent pit stop here for Lance Stroll. It was all going so well, and then suddenly it really wasn't. 2.8, it's not a bad stop. The Williams obviously coming in as well. That'll see Lance Stroll through to the end of the Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel can push on these tyres as well now. He's on the hard compound. He can push. That's fair enough for him now. He can really go for it, but it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And Lance Stroll comes out P18, 18th and 19th, just like we finished qualifying lap 31.
Now watch this.
Fortunately, it's not just our guys spinning. Alex Albon has just spun, which has allowed Sebastian Vettel through, which means we still don't lose to a Williams yet this season. There's a few cars spinning as well. Esteban Ocon's done exactly the same. They're rather weird spins that's happening. Just a bit trigger happy on the throttle. Who knows? But yeah, it still means that we've not lost to Williams yet this season, but we've got a bit of fuel saving to do as we get into the later stages of this Grand Prix. Well, we bring you back on the final lap of the Grand Prix, and we have had no pace all afternoon. It's been one of the most disappointing Grand Prix I can remember this season.
Last lap.
We are getting beat by a Williams. Sebastian Vettel is just got passed by Alexander Albon. Fantastic work. It's been a terrible weekend for Sebastian Vettel, a poor weekend for Lance Stroll, and a dire weekend for Aston Martin. I thought this episode promised so much with the new chassis upgrade. Maybe the other upgrades have got to come in before we can compete, but my word, has this been a long race to sit and watch. It's been short of highlights for you guys, I appreciate that, but my word, as a team principal, this has been one of the most disappointing episodes I can think of this season. There's been nothing that's got us excited apart from a DRS train, which included Lance Stroll for about 10-15 laps. Apart from that, it's just been absolutely dire. As we'll switch his attention to the front, as Charles Leclerc is making his way around the final few corners to take home the French Grand Prix win. Meanwhile, it's Red Bull. Are they fighting? Sergio Perez having a look at the back of Max Verstappen. Let's ride on board with Sergio Perez. I'm sure they're not going to put Perez in front of Verstappen. No, they're just going to come home. P2 and 3 in formation, the 2 Red Bull cars. But Perez certainly getting a run for his money. Carlos Sainz in P4. It's first and 4 for Ferrari. Russell in P5. Hamilton 6th. Then comes Bottas, Alonso, Gasly, and then the 2 Haas cars. Haas getting another point in the constructors, which is no good for us. Alexander Albon nearly passed Lance Stroll. If we'd have lost to both Williams, I'm not sure I could have recorded another episode. But we will keep going. We'll flash forward now to the end of the race and get the full classifications. So there we have it, Charles Leclerc winning, as we saw in the Drivers' Championship. Sebastian Vettel still the only Aston Martin driver to pick up any points this season, but in the Constructors we lose more ground to McLaren and Haas. It's only one decent Grand Prix, that's got to be bear in mind. It can happen in the second half of this season when the upgrades do come. I apologise for such a poor performance. I'm going to go and have a stiff drink. And I hope to see you on Thursday for the next one. See you later.